welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to another group deep dive episode.
Chung chung!
Boom, boom. We teased last week, and I don't know why I bother teasing it now because you press the button on your app and you know who it is. But we're talking about To Anyone today.
Yeah! Legends, icons, and pillars of K-pop. To Anyone.
To Anyone.
Also pronounced 21.
Yes, because originally that was supposed to be their name, but it was someone else's name.
It was supposed to be the number 21.
Yes.
Yes. And then another singer had that name, so they made it the letter 2, N-E, and then the number 1.
Yes.
I just said the letter 2, but you know what I mean.
And that you're supposed to say it 21.
Yeah, you can say it as either To Anyone or 21, but it's supposed to be a combination of 21st century and new evolution.
Wow. So yeah, I feel like To Anyone, and before we get into it, just in a general, if you don't understand what they mean to K-pop, I think back when I had our very first guest, when Jane Kim came on and I talked to her about her K-pop origin story, she said that To Anyone was the first girl group that she ever cared about, and it was the craziest thing she'd ever seen because no K-pop girls had ever looked, sang, acted they were different. They were so different than anything anybody had ever seen.
I would argue, and whatever, you can argue against me, but I would argue that To Anyone was sort of the first girl group for girl fans, whereas Girls' Generation is a girl group that is for boys. Their songs are about being cute and loving boys, and their dances are sexy and their outfits are sexy and their image is feminine and cute. But To Anyone is the first instance that we have of sort of that girl crush image of girls would want to be like them or be like their friends.
Right.
And not all of their songs are love songs. A lot of them are breakup songs. A lot of them are just I'm the boss, I'm the best. And some of them are I hate you, I don't need you.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it's way tougher. And it's definitely the first time that girls are given that edge in K-pop.
Absolutely. And I personally, just to get it out of the way now so that this doesn't seem like a fake ass episode or whatever, I've never really been a To Anyone fan. You guys know, if you're a listener to this program, you know what our type of K-pop that we like is. And this is vocoded electronic beat. It's just
For the most part.
For the most part, it's just not our bag. But it's all really great for if there was a spin class that was a 21 spin class, it would be the best one ever because it's just that very
a lot of their music is driving beats and very pump up club music. However, I will say, and I'll bring this up several times in this episode, all 4 of them are talented vocalists, and they have many songs that feature all 4 of their vocals. So they are good singers. They just don't usually make songs that feature them being good singers.
Totally.
And I would say, when they first came out, they were kind of hailed as, the female Big Bang, and that because they had, hip-hop clothes and style, and then they started to become a little bit edgier and sexier and feminine, and so they definitely evolved past that they're the female Big Bang idea, but that is a comparison that they get a lot.
Right.
You could also say that they're the antithesis of Girls' Generation.
Sure.
And the mothers of Blackpink.
Absolutely.
I would argue to all of those vocals.
I think the one thing that I wanted, the reason
especially since they are YG.
Yes, and the reason that I wanted to bring up that despite never really being a fan, and I do really like a couple of their songs very much, I have always, no matter what, whether or not the song is not for me, appreciated the artistry of To Anyone because I think more than being sexy and cool or whatever, there was just an artistic drama to
100%. In every music video, it's a very curated look.
And it's not a look that it's not an aspirational look where I feel that's what, Girl Crush became aspirational, and that while Blackpink might wear over the top fashion, they have beautiful haircuts that you would want and makeup that you would want to wear. And it was oh, I want to look like Blackpink. But To Anyone would have insane are like haircuts that aren't real, like weird wigs and
wigs
cuts
that had literal polka dots, literal stripes on it. There's one music video where CL has half of her face encrusted in diamond rhinestones and the other half like doesn't have any makeup on it. It's
just like art
in a very like G-Dragon Big Bang over the top fashion kind of way. Like that is To Anyone.
Right. So just like to get us started, I feel like that's the image and the image that To Anyone is projected upon the K-pop timeline before we get started. So let's get into it. Some facts and figures up top. To Anyone debuted in 2009, disbanded in 2016, and is under YG Entertainment. They were nominated for 137 awards in their career and won 62 of them. I was not able to find a total of music show trophies that they had won. Usually when we do those episodes, that is listed right under the other awards, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I wonder if it's because during the height of their popularity, YG got very cranky about music shows and award shows and boycotted a lot of them. So that could be why. But
they also don't have a lot. They just don't have a lot of music show performances in general. So that's probably
it. But so sorry, I can't tell you how many music show trophies they won, but they were popular. We'll get it to that. And then their fandom is called Blackjacks.
Yes.
Because 21 is another name for the card game Blackjack.
Right.
Yes. So their light stick is like a spade with wings. There's like you got that the poker imagery sticks, and their fan color was hot pink.
Yeah.
Which I feel like
that
doesn't fit them.
That doesn't fit them at all. I'm surprised by that. But okay.
But it also was decided back when there were like 10 groups and nobody was fighting over color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fan colors back at that point. It was just like, I don't know, a color like pink. Like now fan colors have gotten very intense, but this was at the beginning when you just needed to pick one. Okay.
There are 4 members.
Yeah, let's talk about the members. So the first member is CL. Her real name is Lee Chae-rin. And she was born in 1991, and she is the leader and the main rapper of To Anyone.
I did not know she was younger than me.
She is younger than most of the members. This is very interesting.
Oh, but she's the leader?
Yes.
Interesting.
The next, I feel like we usually try to describe people. So like CL is like the rapper. She's like the baddest bitch is what her like image became as they went on. She usually is wearing like very sharp, long eyeliner because she has like very thin little eyes. So they like would always draw them out.
I personally think she's a little bit cross-eyed.
Yes, she is.
Like her eyes are very close together. She wears really dramatic winged eyeliner.
Or has like a bang over.
Usually has dramatic bangs, or she often in the music videos wears really dramatic sunglasses. She usually is the one who gets like the first line or the first verse in it. So like if you're wondering who she is, she's probably first.
Yes. As they went on, she really, really just kind of became who the group was about.
She became the group in a very like Beyonce Destiny's Child sort of way. And she's also not always, but most often blonde.
Yeah. Those are good descriptions.
And she always has really long hair.
Yes. Throw around. Next in the line is Baum. Park Baum is her full name. She was born in 1984.
Oh, damn.
And she's the main vocalist. Now, Baum, this is not a judgment on her or her person, but it needs to be said if you're looking for her. Baum has plastic surgery face. It's like one of the things about her. Like it's unavoidable.
And it has been that way since they debuted.
Yes.
Like when they debuted, she'd already had her eyes and her lips done at least, but she has sculpted like her entire face. It is very obvious when you're looking at the 4 members who she is.
Yeah. And in the videos, like they always would do her makeup and put her in the biggest. She looks like an anime doll when they put her full face on.
They like really feature her eyes. She has those like perfect anime eyes. She usually has bangs. She
has a bangs.
Yeah, she almost always has bangs and a high ponytail is like her signature look. She usually has long hair and it's often black. Like she doesn't usually do a lot of different hair colors.
That's very true.
I watched literally every single music video today. So
Good.
I have like
it's all fresh in your mind.
Yeah, all of the like range of looks that they've gone through.
Next in the list is Dara. Her real name is Sandara Park.
Yes.
And that's what she goes by nowadays, that full name, Sandara. I love that. Like
Sandara.
Because it's like Sandra, but like in Korean it has more characters.
It's beautiful.
And she was also born in 84, and she was the vocalist and the visual. And
she's stunning.
She looks exactly like Jisoo from Blackpink. It's honestly terrifying.
Oh, okay.
I think they look... I'm not the only person who thinks that, but like when I was watching some of these videos, I was like, God, who does she look like? And then it like hit me, and there's a member of Blackpink who looks just like her.
Okay.
I want to pull up a picture. Just so
Jisoo is the fourth one?
Yeah. Dara and Jisoo. There's like pictures of them sitting together, and they might as well be like twins. I think they look so similar.
Oh, yeah. They do look a lot alike.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
But yes, she's like classically beautiful. She's since become like an actress because she's like, she's got that actress face.
Yeah.
Just like skinny and lovely.
She has always been the most adventurous with her hair. She goes through super wild hair trends.
That's true. Yeah.
Her hair is always unpredictable.
Some of the weirdest
CL's
wigs.
is usually blonde. Bohm's is usually bangs. Minzy's is always short.
Yeah.
And Dara's the wild card. Her hair could be anything.
That's very accurate. So we just mentioned the maknae is Minzy. Gong Minzy is her real name, or Minji, whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing. She was born in 94.
Okay.
And she's the main dancer in maknae.
10-year difference.
So there was a 10-year difference. So when they debuted, they had two 25-year-olds, an 18-year-old who was in charge of them, and a 15-year-old.
Weird.
Which is so, like, that dynamic feels so odd to me.
Did CL train the longest? Why was she the leader? Because, like, that's why, like, Suho's not the oldest of EXO, but usually the oldest, we've said this many times, usually the oldest is the leader. So I'm interested that she was significantly younger, like 6-7 years younger than two of the other members.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe they just from the beginning were like, she's the star.
It's possible. It's very possible. Because YG liked her best. It was like not a secret. So that could be why she was the leader. She also speaks a lot of languages, CL does. She like grew up, her dad was like, had some kind of travel-y job. So she went to international schools and lived like all over the world. One of the things that people love to talk about CL is that she speaks English with like literally no accent.
Zero accent. And that's featured in a lot of 2NE1 songs. She
Yes.
speaks English in a lot of them.
Yeah. So that could be a thing about it too. Like, I don't know. But she's a very talented
Or
rapper.
with like a Brooklyn accent. Like she certainly doesn't have a Korean accent when she speaks
That's
English.
very true.
She has an American accent.
So those are the members of 2NE1. It was just a 4-member girl group.
Yeah.
So another like reason why it was different than Girls' Generation. Like
Yeah.
there were much less of them. Yeah. Okay, so their technical debut song, we brought up on our commercial episode. This was a commercial for
LG
smartphones.
It was called Lollipop. It came out in March of 2009, and it was with Big Bang.
Lolly, lolly, lollipop, oh, 난 나의 lollipop. Lolly, lolly, lollipop, oh, lollipop, pop, lolly.
Yeah, it's a very, very repetitive song. Big Bang also takes a lot of the verses. But because this song was a commercial, YG was like, well, that would be a weird look if we like promoted that as their debut single. So
It was also a duet.
yes. So their actual official debut was 2 months later. Oh, did I say that was in March 2009? 2 months later in May, they had their official debut with a song called Fire.
We're 21. Coming, 작은 세상으로 지겹기만 한 고민은 이제 등을 지고.
They did release 2 versions of the music video on the same day, a space
And a street version.
both got 1 million views within 24 hours, which was like unheard of at the time.
Yeah, so they were immediately very, very popular. I wrote that CL looks like a sexy Lady G-Dragon in the street version.
Yeah.
But the fashion in both versions is pretty wild. So like from the get-go, they're pushing boundaries with their patterns and shapes.
And I think
lots
that
of
we
things.
talked about the debut stage in our second generation episode. Like they all get like a set piece,
Yes.
and it's like a very introducing you to the group kind of song. Like everybody gets a long moment to show their stuff or whatever. But yeah, fire.
That's a very classic example of what To Anyone sounds like.
Yes, absolutely. They're like the vocoder will not go away. Like that is part of their signature sound, which is a thing that people either love or hate about them, but it was a thing.
And that first verse that you heard was CL, and she has a very distinctively nasal voice that that's her sound.
Yeah, totally. So they had their debut stage on May 17th, and then they got their first win on June 14th with this song. Next, in July of that year, they put out the mini album, and it came with a music video for a song called "I Don't Care,"
which was released first as a single.
Yes, and this song was a very big deal.
I don't care 그만하래 네가 어디에서 뭘 하던 이젠 정말 상관 안 할게 지켜줄래 이제와 울고불고 매달리지 마 Cause I don't care I don't care
Yeah, this music video is weird. It's like everybody is frozen. Everyone in the world is frozen. And then the girls are like walking through all the frozen people being like, because at the beginning they all get a phone call from a main boy or something.
Each individual girl gets a phone call, and then time all around the world freezes. I wrote that this is a gorgeous dated masterpiece. It is so the outfits.
Oh my God, yes.
Minzy's wearing a jacket that it's like a denim vest that just has Legos glued all over it, like little Lego pieces. It's really, and then one of them at the very beginning, I think it might be CL or maybe it's Dara, is like a wild fortune teller. It's really strange. This music video is when they go to the fortune teller.
Yeah.
CL's wearing sunglasses for most of this music video, if you're wondering which one she is. But this one had like a softer, more feminine image in the promos, and it ended up being the most downloaded song of the month and the song of the year for the Mamas this year.
Yeah, and it's just like a classic, like a very classic 21 song. The choreography always makes me laugh, and I like wonder if the silly choreography has anything to do with its like staying power, because when they say ke, they like swing their little fingers in front of themselves, and it's kind of awkward. Like, the choreo to this is silly. 21 is not a dancing group.
I was just
Minzy
going to
is
say
a dancer.
That. I was going to say that. Yeah, Minzy is a dancer, and she's a fantastic dancer. She like has her own dance academy now,
and they like give her
studio.
solos.
They give her lots of opportunities to feature how good of a dancer she is. CL can like definitely carry choreography, but as a whole, To Anyone is not a group that's known for their choreography, just like Big Bang is not a group that's known for their choreography. Like that wasn't their thing. There is choreography to all of their songs,
sure,
but it's not intricate, it's not super complicated, and it is not why people love them.
Right. So the day after this song came out, they put out the first season of their first reality show, and the goal of the reality show was to show people a softer, more real girl side of 21, because they'd only existed as these weird, artsy, high fashion, edgy girls. So it was just like a regular old, like they're wearing t-shirts and practicing at YG reality show. And then the rest of the year was spent on weird solo projects. In September, Dara put out a solo called Kiss. That was a beer commercial, but it sold 2 million copies.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then in October, Bohm put out her first solo, which was called You and I, and it sold 3.8 million copies and was the song of the year in 2009. And then in November, CL and Minzy put out a duet called Please Don't Go. And that one only went to number 6. But this newly debuted group like put out.
Yeah, that's crazy. The first year of that's pretty unheard of, that the very first year that they would debut, they immediately jump into solo projects right after their first EP drops. That's bold.
It is bold. So then at the end of the year in 2009, they won 3 Mamas, Best New Artist at Melon, and had sold 100,000 physical copies of their album. So their debut year, as often it goes in these, when we talk about these legendary groups in these episodes, they killed it, like right out of the gate, which is cool. So that was 2009. 2010, in February, this was pretty interesting. They released a track called Try to Follow Me or just Follow Me. And it was released with absolutely no warning, no teasers.
Yeah, it
nothing.
was an unexpected drop. And it went to number 1.
The video for this one is fully nuts. This is where the polka dot painted hair wig that we mentioned earlier comes into play.
I love this music video. The looks are out of control. They're so crazy. The things that they have like built onto their jackets and stuff. It must be seen to be believed. Like it's great. But this song, like I do like this song, but I also wrote techno reggae ? Because it's a weird
It's interesting.
Vibe.
There's a part later in the song. There's like a breakdown bridge, something at the end that I really like, but it's so different from the rest of the song. Also, this was a Samsung commercial.
Yes, it was.
They did a lot of commercial songs. I don't know. It's just because we're out of the loop that we didn't bring them up in our commercial episode, but they did a lot of commercials.
We brought them up a couple different times.
Sure, but I don't think I realized how many until we did like how many of their songs were commercials.
A lot of their commercial songs they released as actual singles. So it was like a little bit, whereas other groups that we featured in that episode was like specifically it was only for this commercial. They didn't like release it so that you could buy it on iTunes, which To Anyone did for like all of their CFs.
True. In summer 2010, they spent the whole summer in LA and London making an album with will.i.am.
Yes. So from Black Eyed Peas, they went and they spent the majority of 2010. They recorded 10 different songs with will.i.am. And then they released their first full-length album in September, which was called To Anyone.
Yes. T-O.
Anyone.
A-N-Y-O. Yes, the full word.
Yeah.
And the first, they released 3 singles in a row, so we'll take our time to do them. The first one they did on the 8th was Clap Your Hands. So the video for this one is like mostly in like a fake alley in front of a car, and then otherwise they're in like a dojo in like Street Fighter outfits. I don't know.
Yeah, this is one of their only music videos where they're all wearing the same thing.
It's costumey.
They're like all wearing coordinated outfits in a way that like typical groups do, but they never do. To Anyone is not a coordinated group. So first matching outfits, they have a lot of choreography that involves them moving a bench around while someone is sitting or standing on top of it. And the choreography in the chorus makes me laugh a little because they like clap while they're saying clap your hands. They like clap to the side and they clap to the side and then they have to clap behind their backs. And it's like not an easy move, but whatever. They're not known for their dancing, like I said.
Right. So then the next day they released another single. And this one was called Go Away.
Trigger warning for this one, actually, before you start watching this. Domestic violence ahead.
yeah, this I like, yes, triggery music video, but I do like the shot of the girls like in their way too fancy costumes, like sitting in the soju tent, like drinking, but they're like fully done up in like crazy
Wearing,
outfits.
like, insane runway looks, but in this little soju
They're,
tent.
like, just drinking on the street.
Yeah, this music video stars CL as a race car driver who gets roughly broken up with by her boyfriend. And when she goes to confront him, he beats her in the street. And then she goes, and he's also a race car driver, and they go and they race each other. And she kills him in the race. Wow. In the race, she like hits his car and it blows up. And you think that her car blows up too, but then the camera like pans back, and all of 2NE1 is just like smiling and watching the car burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Go Away. CL has a line in it in which she says, Beyonce, Beyonce, I'm walking away from destiny.
Wow. Yeah, CL is really good. I do think that's one of the high points as an English speaker of most 2NE1 songs is CL has some pretty good English lines that are usually very funny and clever.
Yeah.
So then the next day, like I said, they released 3 music videos a day. And the last one in the set on the 11th was called Can't Nobody. Mm-hmm. And this to me is like another like classic unavoidable 2NE1 song. Yeah, really crazy outfits in that.
Yeah, really nutty outfits in that. I wrote, damn, Minzy, because she's wearing this like insane leather studded, like very sexy corset thing, and she does like a super like booty shaking dance in a hallway. But the ending of it is really cute. I don't even remember what it is now, but the ending is they get in their little futuristic xenon outfits, and they're so cute.
Those
the ending
big
of this
pokey
music video
outfits
is so cute. I love it.
Yeah. They look like cool starfighter, like flame,
like
Power
Xenon
Ranger.
is totally, I don't know. Yeah. They look great.
But it's really funny with these 3 videos, like watching them all in a row like this. Like it's very clear that like there was definitely budget spent on Go Away because it's like a drama and it's like long, and then this is like a high quality like crazy box video, and Clap Your Hands is cheap. It's so cheap. It's nothing. It was like they ran out of money and they were like, quick, put them in front of the steam graffiti hallway that we keep in the back.
This like set that we haven't used in a while.
A fake street in a K-pop video. I feel like that doesn't happen as often as it did for a certain period of time. Like everyone was shooting their videos on this like very fake indoor street like for a very long time.
But they actually released 2 other singles from that album as well. These were like the ones that they came out with at the beginning to promote, but they also did one called It Hurts, which is a ballad. It's like a very pretty slow song. It's very it's like Rapunzel but make it fashion. Is how I would summarize the music video. And then they also came out with a song called Don't Stop the Music, which was a thank you song for their Thai fans. And I don't know specifically why, but that was the 5th single released off of that album.
I do have something from that pulled, but since it didn't come out for later, because I had, let's see. They did it so on the 12th of September, they promoted all 3 of the music videos at once. They had another reality show season timed with the drop. And then at the end of 2010, they beat their own award record from the previous year. And then in December, they released this Don't Stop the Music. And it's funny that your note says that it was a fan song because my note says that it is a laptop commercial.
Interesting.
But I believe
maybe they put it on the album as a fan song and then re-released it as a laptop commercial.
Yeah, maybe. Here's what it sounds like. Wow, CL's vest is so weird.
It's very puffy, and the pattern of it, the way it matches the little harem pants she's wearing, keeps making me think of EXO's Overdose jumpsuits with their little like EXO maze on it. But yeah.
So that was 2010.
Yes, that year they won Artist of the Year, Best Music Video, Best Female Group, and Album of the Year at the Mamas.
Wow. The next thing I had on the timeline, I had to pull a clip of just because I feel like everyone has to hear the beginning of this. In January of 2011, they released Can't Nobody in an English version, and CL's rap at the beginning is hysterical.
To KTC, many start from A to Z. Jeremy Scott, G-Funk shoot. Bitch, you ain't got shit on me. Chrome hearts, Fendi furs, dripped in shit you never heard. Riding down so city, black on black.
Yeah, the lyrics in the English one are pretty crazy and worth a listen.
I also laugh at the opening of that music video because it's from 2010, and so she's wearing like super low cut
low cut jeans,
and she's wearing a crop top, but like because of it's like featuring the lower part of her stomach, which is arguably like not a sexy part on a lot of people's stomachs, and it just I don't know, it was just,
and it also seems too late. Like in 2010, were we still really wearing low rise jeans in 2010?
I don't remember.
Because that seems like a 2002, 2003 thing to me.
Yeah, it was very like Jessica Simpson.
Tara Reid, and Britney Spears wore very low jeans in those early 2000s.
And that's what the opening scene of that music video makes me think of. And it like, I don't know, I get weird secondhand embarrassment from it. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. Okay, next, as far as Korean singles go, in May 2011, they put out Lonely, which is another, I feel like this is a song that I've heard a million times. In the specific context that I've heard this song is when I've seen videos of other girl idols like pre-debut audition videos. Oh, this is like a song that people like to sing.
This is it's a pretty ballad, and this is, I think, one of the first examples we've played for sure of how good of singers all four of them actually are.
Baby, I'm so lonely, 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 lonely. Baby, I'm so lonely, 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 lonely. Baby, I'm so lonely, 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 lonely.
Pretty. I really like that song.
It's nice. I did have to laugh, though, when I was playing the music video in my living room. I heard my husband shout from the other room, "Do you think she's lonely?" Because they say it so many times.
They do. They also walk in front of a bridge that says in English, "Sexy, pin sharp, in flawless." Ooh. And I don't know what that means.
I love a crazy English like that. So that song like all killed all the charts.
Went straight to number 1.
And it was subsequently, it should have been released with another song, but there was like technical difficulties and it got pushed. But I Am the Best came out in June. And as we do in this episode, and these types of episodes, the most popular music video gets skipped till the end.
Because that's what we do instead of our random game.
Yes, it becomes the random game thing. But before we talk about, like, I think I just have to take a moment for I Am the Best, because I think arguably, like, under Gangnam Style, this is the K-pop song that everyone's heard, whether or not they think they've heard it.
Oh, yes. For example, this song is featured in a show called The Magicians, which is like a random ass like sci-fi fantasy musical, or like sci-fi channel show or whatever. So it has reached far corners of like the
all the way to weird deep cable
paradigm or whatever.
Yeah, because it was in an Xbox game, like in an Xbox dance game that year. It was in a Microsoft commercial. It like everybody, like I've seen it, cheerleaders used it in like their big national routines. Like it's just a perfect loud, like stadium techno-y kind of song, and it has a million applicable uses. And I feel like it is out there, and you'll hear it at the end of the episode.
And when you hear the intro to it, you will probably say, "Oh, that song," because the intro is iconic.
It's so iconic.
It has been like since it was the song of the year that it came out, and it was like has since been very, very deeply cemented in lists and lists of like top K-pop songs of all time.
Totally. So we'll get to that at the end. But a little bit after that, in July, they released a music video for the song I Hate You, and it's an anime music video.
Yes, it is an animated music video.
난 무서워 네가 참 우스워 난 정말 재수 없어 널 만날 이유 없어 너 같은 남자 이 세상에 답이 없어 재수 없어 다 정말 재수 없어.
So I personally think this is genius. Like, even though it's not like anime, it's not really my bag. It's a lot of people's bags. And I think anytime that a K-pop group can like establish like characters, like a cartoon or an animal or some other kind of anthropomorphic version of their group, like it's just an interesting thing to do. You can make like so much merch, and then like fans can make like fan art, and so like
it's easily translatable to a lot of different things if you have a little cartoon version of your group.
The cover art of this album featured all 4 of these like anime versions of them, but then this music video, it's like a post-apocalyptic like adventure.
Yeah, and the 4 girls are basically bounty hunters. It's very like Cowboy Bebop in that they're searching for this guy,
this long-haired
this wanted dead
guy.
or alive guy. That song only went to number 3, but the EP that they released this year, which was called To Anyone, like just the name,
the title,
they had. This one went to number 3, like I said, but they did have 3 number 1s. 2 of them we've already mentioned, Lonely and I'm the Best. And then they also came out with a 4th one called Ugly.
And here is what it sounds like.
I think I'm ugly and nobody wants to love me just like her. I wanna be pretty, don't let in my face, telling me I'm pretty. I think I'm ugly.
This song is very interesting.
Yes, it's very much like a rock ballad. Every once in a while. Yes, that's what I was going to say is, every once in a while, To Anyone pretends that they play instruments in their music videos. This is one of them. But I was going to say the middle school version of me that was really into Pink absolutely loves this song.
Yeah.
But I did, when I first listened to it, had to look up the lyrics because I was like, what is the message of this song? And basically it's like they don't think that they're a good person. Like, obviously it's self-deprecating, but they're saying like, don't love me and don't be with me because at first it seems like it's physical, and then it kind of gets a little bit more like personal, like I'm not a good person, and so like she's better than me, and like I don't deserve you, and nobody will love me because I'm not a good person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was curious if, because I find the harmonies in the chorus to be like very atonal and bordering on flat if they are not in fact flat, and I thought that was on purpose, like because the song is called Ugly, and it like sounds ugly, and it like makes my spine seize up. But anyway, that song's very interesting, and the music video, they're just like jumping on a steam grate and like cool
they're just like walking
vests.
around, and their outfits are really crazy.
So then in August of 2011, they had their very first concert in Seoul, 2 nights in Seoul.
Yep, it sold out. It was actually 3 nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good. I only had 2, but 3 is better. And then at the end of 2011, I thought this was interesting. MTV at one point tried to make an online-only version of their channel that was international called MTV Iggy. It was like a live-streamed MTV. It only lasted like 2 years. But in its very first year, To Anyone won Best New Band in the World.
Yes. So this MTV Iggy put on like a global competition with bands from all over the world, and To Anyone won.
And they won these big, hideous crowns.
Yeah.
Like these insane, stupid crowns.
And they got to perform in Times Square in December of that year.
And they also that year won Mama Song of the Year for I'm the Best, which you already mentioned.
The only other thing that I have about 2011, which we won't go very much into, like as we always do with our group deep dives. Like most of these groups have a lot of Japanese activities, which that music is country locked for the most part. So they did make their Japanese debut in 2011. 2011 is also the year that I believe it was an earthquake hit Japan.
So they didn't really get to promote it
a lot of
all.
their activities, because their Japanese debut was at the beginning of the year, and then most of their activities were postponed because of the earthquake. And then after their sold-out concert in Seoul, which was in August, they released a Japanese version of that same To Anyone album that they came out with in July, and then they went on a Japanese tour.
Yes. And then for the first half of 2012, I have them, they sort of got like a second chance at Japanese promotions. They put out a new single called Scream, and they like finally did all the shows and concerts that they would have done before the earthquake.
They also released a full-length Japanese album, and because the previous one was just an EP, so this one was full-length. They played a lot of festivals. They went to the MTV VMAs that were in Japan, and they performed there. So most of their 2012 activities were Japan.
Yes, but one thing they did do in 2012 was in July, right before they kicked off their world tour, which was the actual first outside of Asia world tour that a K-pop girl group had gone on. They put out a single called I Love You. They put it out in 2 languages, I believe.
Yes.
And it sounds like this. A lot of hair moments in this one. Like, I think earlier when you said that Dara took the most hair risks, this is the one where half of her head is shaved.
Yes, she has very G-Dragon hair in this. Half of her head is shaved, and the other half is waist length, pink and blue and purple ombre. It's amazing. Her hair's so great in this video. I fucking love it.
Yeah, and then poor Minzy has a black bob with triangle bangs like a Spock or something. It's not
They
cool.
always give Minzy super crazy short bobs, and sometimes they're cute, but most often they're not. I really like this song. I feel like it's a techno pop ballad for the gays, like Kylie Minogue and like Cher style.
There's something
like,
very like,
Madonna-ish, like doo-doo-doo. I can just see somebody voguing in like a cage to it. I like it. I think it's melodic and fun.
So that was the only Korean thing they put out in 2012 because, they were doing that whole world tour.
I just have a couple of like historical things of note. In December, MTV Style named To Anyone and Big Bang 2 of the best band styles in 2012. And To Anyone specifically were the only Asian artists that made it into the top 10 of this list, which included One Direction, The Wanted, Destiny's Child, No Doubt, and the Spice Girls.
Wow.
So they're listed among heavy hitters.
That's very cool. The next thing I have in their timeline are these 2 very upsetting songs that I feel like I have to play, but
I honestly skipped them. I didn't listen to them, but go for it.
I think people have to
You should play
know
them.
because, like we said earlier, they spent a whole summer, 3 summers before this, working on 10 songs with will.i.am.
Yes.
And then these 2 songs came out, and I'll just let you hear them.
They are.
The first one is called Take the World On.
We'll take the world
Do you think they'll take the world on?
They're planning to. And then the other one was called Gettin' Dumb.
Didn't this one also feature
This one has Apple Diap? Oh, I didn't know who's. Oh, yeah, I see
One of
that.
them
It's
is.
on there because there is a man's voice on it. Here.
You've been waiting for the weekend, so we can party like an anima. So come on, baby, here we go, and check it out because
I've been working every day. I've been waiting. What's time to play? Call all my people. Let's paint the town. Bring the fire. Let's burn it
I mean, it's not that bad. It's Black Eyed Peas music. It just is.
No, it's a Mad Lib of Black Eyed Peas. Like, he just took all of his lyrics from Black Eyed Peas and like cut them up and then picked a couple and did like refrigerator magnet poetry with it, because all of those lines are from different songs.
Yeah, that was So
Will.i.am is the reason the Black Eyed Peas tanked.
Oh wow. Fire take.
That's my take.
I love it. Okay.
I resent him. I used to like the Black Eyed Peas.
Everyone did.
Ella Funk was a good album, man. I stand by that. Anyway,
that was the beginning of 2013 for
those came out
21.
in March and April.
Then in July, it was time for new music again.
Mm-hmm.
And this song was called Falling in Love.
Yes.
And to me, this seems like a bit of a departure sound-wise.
Yes, it is very different. I described it as a tough and sexy island jam, ?
Falling in love, falling in love. 널 갖고 싶어 나 어떻게 boy. Falling in love, falling in love. 너만 보면 내 마음이 Falling in love, falling in love. 널 갖고 싶어 나 어떻게 boy.
Right? That's very islandy.
Yeah, it's like definitely like
They're
an
also on
island
a beach.
song. A fake
In the
beach.
music video.
A very fake
Yeah.
I also really like the outfit just because it's kind of shocking. There's one, like, Bomb is wearing like a white dress and like this crazy brown wig, and it looks like a shampoo commercial or something. Like, it feels out of place.
It's like the only time in her entire career that she's had that haircut,
Yes.
and it looks very out of character.
and it like
for her
isn't
in a
real
weird
because in
way.
the other shots she has like a cute,
Right.
short, much
it's definitely
thinner
not
hair.
her hair, which is strange. But I also wrote that this music video features a boy harem, which I support. There is one boy that kind of looks like my favorite actor, Gong Myung, and he has long hair, and he's
I don't know
really
who that
cute.
is. He looks so familiar. I know him from something.
He's really cute, whoever that boy may be.
We can find out
I like
another
his long
time.
and wavy hair.
And then the next month they did Do You Love Me? And this is a song that I know because my dance teacher loves this song.
Falling in Love went to number 1, and this Do You Love Me, which came out in August, went to number 3. Only. I mean, it went to number 3. That's a big deal.
나와 같아 믿고 싶어 누구도 헤아릴 순 없지만 너에게 묻고 싶어 B-O-Y-O-U-L-O-V-E Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me like the
That is a very fun music video. It's like filmed at a party and they're
Yeah.
like having a very good time. And they have like a phone that has the lips like saying the words of the song and they keep
Yeah.
holding it up to like boys' mouths. So it like looks like they
Yeah,
are
so like
saying
this
it.
lipsticked mouth is like singing "Do You Love Me." It's a very party rock anthem.
And that song to me sounds more like Black Eyed Peas than the last two like Will.i.am things that we heard. Like
I thought it sounded more like LMFAO, but yes, it's that vibe.
the bridge where Bomb sings though, and it's like it sort of sounds like every time that Uno puts this song on for warm up, when it starts with the like just the organ or whatever, I always think it's the Black Eyed Peas version of "I had the time of my life."
Okay, I can hear
It's this
that.
instead.
I can hear
so,
that.
Go
ahead.
No, I was gonna ask. So, "Falling in Love" and "Do You Love Me" were those off the same album, or were they just singles? Or?
In 2013, they only released singles.
Okay.
But they did release 3 of them. Do you have the third one?
The November, "Missing You"? Or
Yes.
okay.
I didn't have the date for that one written down.
Yes. In November, I have another single. This one is called "Missing You."
And it also went to number 1.
미워요 차갑게 식어버린 내 가슴은 아직도 그를 그리워해요 그리워해요 그리워해요
Yeah, this is one of those examples of like what powerhouse vocals they are capable of.
Absolutely. I really like this song. I like it because I am a vocal stan,
Yeah.
but also because the little bubble instrumentation in the background of the verse I really like, and it reminds me of something that I can't put my finger on, and there is a little part of me that feels like the chorus doesn't entirely go with the verses, but I still like the song. They're such good singers.
No, totally. Yeah, this music video is very, very stylized. They're mostly just like standing completely still.
Yes.
In like different rooms with like crazy costumes on. And
standing or lying down or sitting, but
And
like stationary in some position in a high fashion look.
And then there's a man in like a full mask doing like
diamond
an
encrusted
interpretive
mask.
dance in a room. But I love there's in the scene where they're all by the car and it's like snowing gently. Bomb has like a very crazy like head pearl, like some kind of cool thing on her head. And I feel like it's the time where her face worked the most because she looks like a poster for like an anime princess of some kind. Like the bangs and the like crown thing, it like works very, very well.
Yes,
in this
and
video.
the way they do her eye makeup with the rhinestones underneath in like literally the freeze frame that you have it on right now, it very much, she looks like a video game princess. Yeah.
So the next thing I have, which was very interesting to me personally, which is in January 2014, they were on The Bachelor.
Yes.
There was an episode where The Bachelor and the girls, it's the international date episode. They went to Korea. They got taught the chorus of I Am the Best and performed backup. The contestants all performed backup for 2NE1 at like a mall. They did like a mall stage. It's very funny. It's because it's just Bachelor. I mean, they are barely on it. It's really just the Bachelor drama of the one girl who thinks she's good at dancing and the other girl who doesn't dance good and is just very upset that this is the challenge this week. Like, I'm not good at dancing. Like, how am I going to get his attention? But then they dress them in the silly outfits. It's very fun. I love The Bachelor.
They also, at the beginning of 2014, were in America's Next Top Model.
Yes, the finale of America's Next Top Model that year was also in Seoul, and they had 2NE1 like perform at it, and Tyra like introduced them, and it was very cool. Also, in March 2014, they started another world tour. This one was called the All or Nothing Tour.
But before that, in February, they came out with their second full-length album, which was called Crush.
Yes.
And that is where Come Back Home comes from.
Oh, weird. Oh, they must have just released things very oddly because I have Come Back Home came out in March. Come Back Home and Happy came out right next to each other in March. They put out Gotta Be You in May, and they didn't put out the Crush music video till June.
I have that the album came out in February.
Interesting.
Well, regardless.
I don't know who's right, but they put out
In 2014, they came out with an album and 4 singles.
Yes. And the order I have them in, who knows if it's right, but the order I have them in was that Come Back Home was first. This is probably one of my favorite 2NE1 songs.
This is honestly one of my least favorites, but it did go to number 1.
I think it's so cool and weird. Okay, here it goes.
Come back home. Come back home. Come, baby, baby, come, baby. Come, baby, baby, come. That's what I want. Come, baby, baby, come, baby. Come, baby, baby, come.
I hoped I would find information about how much this music video cost because
So much money.
because this came out pretty early in my K-pop life, and I remember this music video seeming like, oh, I bet they spent so much money on this because there's like an insane plot where like Dara's boyfriend is like sick or something, but like everyone can live in in like a virtual reality world where like things are good, but also 2NE1 is working in like a weird lab and like smashing up chords and maybe trying to break the virtual reality world. It's so
like,
much is happening.
If, what's that movie? Elysium?
Elysium's the one where Matt Damon has to go to space and
so
kill
it's like
the rich
Elysium
people.
meets Ready Player One, where there's like a paradise in a virtual world.
Yeah, and you have to try to save a sick person. I don't know.
Because the whole video is like very sci-fi dystopian future, but they do go into space at a certain point because there's all this like crazy like space odyssey style like floating heads in space.
Right. Like weird 3D like
Like
heads.
weird. Yeah, it's all very strange. It's all very strange, but it's a very unique song. Like compositionally,
Yes.
it's bananas.
I didn't even play the like main come back home part in that. But like, yeah, there's a lot of movements to that song. And then they also then after that released Happy, which again, I feel like is one of those odd man out tracks from the album.
This is another example of them pretending to play instruments.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I was so distracted and upset by Dara's baby hair mosaic
Dara's hair
that I
is so
can't
horrible
stand it.
and culturally inappropriate.
내가 없어야 행복하니까 맘없이 I'm not happy but I hope you're happy 멀리서 난 너를 지켜볼게 맘없이 I'm not happy but I hope you're
I love spelling in songs.
I honestly like that song in
No, it's fun.
angsty pop rock ballad style. I love it. It has a very what I called radioactive neon color scheme.
Oh, yes.
It looks super toxic, but highlighter bright.
But they're also walking around the same block in LA in front of a razor wire fence. And I'm just
they're not
LA
doing
is
anything.
disgusting.
Yeah, they're just walking around.
But there's clouds of words around
there's
them
little
a lot.
animated graphics.
It's bye.
Yeah,
And it's
little smiley faces appear and stuff like that. But Dara's hair is unforgivable.
It's very, very gross and bad. Very gross and bad. The next single released from this album, according to my list, was Gotta Be You. Based on Bohm's outfit in this video, I think this is the song they were promoting at the beginning of her roommate season. I think that lines up with the times.
It is this year. It is 2014, so that would match. This is just one of their club ballads, and I find a lot of this kind of music a little boring.
Right.
But yeah, so that it is what it is.
Then in June, the last one of these to be released is called Crush.
Which is also the name of the album that came out this year.
I got 21 big brothers. To me, you ain't big brother. 난 예쁜이 slow, 거침없이 말해. 날 건들면 바보 너만 쏘네. Valentine's Day every day. 큐피트도 나와 사랑에 빠졌지. 내 웃는 얼굴에.
Weird fashion in this one.
Yeah, but it has a color scheme. It's black and red and white.
And zebra print. There's a lot of bowler hats and bow ties and suspenders. Suspenders on low-waisted jeans, which I don't like.
Yeah.
And a very adorable kitten.
Yeah.
It's so small.
And then in October of 2014, I Am the Best was released in the US and it did very good. And again, this is where the song was showing up everywhere. Because it was out there as a great, it's just a great song.
And this year brought a lot of international acclaim To Anyone. Like you mentioned earlier, it was their 4th concert tour. This was definitely a concert tour that was pretty much only in Asia, but they did do 20 shows.
They went more countries than the last
more
time,
countries. Sure. 20 shows in 16 different cities for a total of 180,000 people. This album, Crush, went to number 61 on the Billboard 200 chart, which was a new record for K-pop in the US, and it beat both Big Bang and Girls' Generation's previous records. This album was one of the 40 best albums of 2014 for Fuse. It was the number 1 K-pop album on Billboard's chart and number 11 on their world chart.
Yeah, so they were doing really great.
And then
in November 2014, Baum was questioned by police. She was not arrested. This is very important.
No, she was not. She was never even indicted. She was not charged with
anything. But what had happened was her mom and grandma had been sending her Adderall through the mail because she gets it from her American doctor, but it is highly illegal in Korea.
Yes.
It's considered an amphetamine. Meth, and you can't have it.
So she had been receiving treatment in the States, and she had a doctor in the United States, and she had like a legal prescription in the United States. And in the questioning, it came out that like she did also have a Korean doctor and seek treatment in Korea, but the treatment that she received in Korea was not effective, or at least like not as effective as the treatment that she received in the States. So normally she'd been able to like sometimes fill prescriptions like there in the States, but this time it was sent to her in the mail. So
which is technically smuggling.
Right, drug smuggling. So because it is an illegal substance in South Korea.
Right. So this was just like a huge news scandal. YG like pulled her from stuff immediately.
Yeah. Like we just mentioned that she was on a TV show called Roommate this year, which we've mentioned several times. And so she just like immediately got lifted out of that show without like any
And then they just basically ended that whole cast and got a new cast.
Yeah, they just like dropped them and started over.
And the weird thing about this that I feel like you just have to like bring up for context, because 2014 was just such an insane year in K-pop in general. Like I feel like someday we could just do an episode about everything that happened in 2014. But this was an instance where, and I will never buy these things because I'm just like not a conspiracy theorist type, but there was like a huge tragedy that year where a whole lot of students died and people blamed the government for it. And then there were all of these huge K-pop scandals, and so many K-pop fans wanted to believe that all of this stuff was being brought out as a cover-up so that people would stop talking about what had happened. So a lot of 2NE1 fans like still believe that somebody like threw Bum under a bus like for the sake of changing the conversation. But again, there was so much stuff happening that year. And I personally just think life is chaotic and sometimes things get crazy. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, it was a huge bummer, and it was the biggest bummer in December that year when they performed at Gaio's as 3 people.
Yeah.
That was just like a huge bummer.
Yeah, and they sort of went very quickly into hiatus. Like they didn't really address it or like talk about what was going to happen. They just like immediately started doing solo stuff. So like Minzy went on and she opened up her own dance studio. Dara started doing a lot of acting, and then CL left and like launched a solo career in the United States.
Yeah, just left the country like to do her big.
Yeah, left Korea
Yeah.
and like took Hello Bitches to the States.
Yes. And then the best moment of that year, or I honestly think a lot of people say like of their career, like it was a huge deal at Mama Hong Kong that year on December 2nd, 2015. CL came out.
So this is the following year.
Oh, yes, because like all of 2015, they were just like
solo stuff.
Dara was acting, just like doing things. Yeah. So then at the end of the year, CL went on the Mama stage to do Hello Bitches, and she had her Paris Geller dancers and like
her whole shebang.
And then the like at the beginning or in Hello Bitches, there's like a Hana to set, and like it played like Hana, and like Dara comes up out of the stage and everybody screams. And then they slowly like revealed all the members of 2NE1 and they did Fire and I Am the Best. And like it like gives me like shivers, and I feel like there's a point where it looks like Bum looks like she's going to cry, but she's trying to like keep her tough image up. But like people screamed so loud for her. It's like really beautiful that like,
and it is to this day the most watched performance by a girl group of the Mamas. Like it is a hugely popular music video, and personally, like I don't know, it's hard to watch because on the one hand it's like very vindicating to like see them come out and still be together and still be friends and like still be supported and cheered by all their fans. But on the other hand, nothing came of it afterward. Right. Like they did not do a reunion. They didn't come back. Like she didn't like come back into good graces or anything. Like this did not mark the end of Bum's fall.
No,
it really did nothing to bring her back into the spotlight. And that I feel like is the most disappointing part about it.
Yeah, totally. Because this next part is just like, here's the like sad ending to all of this, which is in April of 2016, as is not very usual, it was like, you know, people knew that 2NE1's contract renewal was coming up, but YG called a press conference, which was like, ooh, that's never good. And he wanted to get out in front of the fact that he said Minzy is not renewing her contract. She's not coming back. So she writes a letter on her Instagram thanking everybody, but she doesn't mention in the letter YG or to anyone at all. She's like just talking to her fans. So a bunch of people get very, very mad at Minzy and they're like, she's ungrateful and like, how dare she? And whatever. Then like 7 months go by, nothing happens. YG keeps telling people in the news that like, oh, he's going to find another member. And like, he keeps saying he's going to find another member and put them out as 4. And like, just wait, to anyone's coming back. Just wait, they're coming back. And then in November, he announced that the group disbanded and that he had basically sort of kept the truth from them back in April, and he didn't renew Bomb's contract. So he only had contracts for CL and Dara. So To Anyone had effectively disbanded back in April. But in the meantime, he announced and sold out a world tour for CL. And like, so people thought it was very, very shady that he was like waiting till he had all their money to be like, actually, I already disbanded the group, LOL.
Yeah.
So people were really, really upset. And he also totally threw Bum under the bus in his like letter. He was like, she's so depressed and messed up. Like he was just basically saying that she's like a completely mentally ill mess and that she couldn't be worked with. And so for her own sake, he has to break the band up. She says now that nothing about that is true. That she like was not destroyed by her drug scandal and she wanted to come back out and sing and he would not let her. So then right out in January of 2017, a music video comes out called Goodbye.
Yes, this is the last single that To Anyone ever released, and it was actually it's inspired on a letter that CL wrote to Minzy.
Yes, and it was supposed to just be a CL song, and they managed to get everybody together.
I love this song. It's really beautiful, but just as a heads up, like if you are a To Anyone fan, or even if you're not, because like I'm not a huge To Anyone fan, but watching this music video made me very sad and teary and like a little bit upset because the song is really beautiful and the music video is just like concert footage and like compilation stuff and like them looking beautiful. And
but the concert footage is like projected on a wall and they're like walking slowly in flowy dresses in front of the projections.
And it's like weird in memoriam.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sad.
그냥 가져마 오늘이 지나가면 내일은 다를 것만 같아 너 없이 잘 살아갈 수 있을까 우리 다시 만나는 그날까지 안녕 안녕 우리 다시 만나는 먼 그날까지
It's like, it was a lot, and it was also just like a huge bummer to people because like they did manage to get Bomb back, but like Minzy said that she found out through somebody texting her the video that it happened. Like no one asked her.
That is very sad.
So it's just like a bummer. And I know it's like one of those, like a fall from grace feels like a wrong word because people definitely just fully 100% blame YG for this.
Yeah.
But it's just it's so sad that a group could have been so huge and so influential and made
they were so huge and so influential.
And then that he would just like collapse it like that is just it's just awful.
It's super anticlimactic and it's so deflating.
Yes, it is very deflating. And one thing that I thought was interesting is that, you know, people say that, you know, YG only focused all of his attention on CL, and that is probably what like eventually ruined the group. And most people didn't blame Minzy for not wanting to stay because she never got to do anything. She never got offered a solo project or like she didn't get to do anything. She like lived in the shadows. And she also was 15 when they debuted. Like she gave her whole youth to this group. And then another thing that people pointed out is that, like I mentioned way earlier, Bomb's first solo, That You and I, sold almost 4 million copies. Like she was extremely popular and he never did anything for her. It was just about CL, and I'm not blaming CL for that. Like I truly don't. This is all YG. Like he is the worst. And like
he's a shady character.
He is a shady character. But so it's like, it's a bummer that that's how it ended. But here in 2019, we can like say with peace that like everyone is doing fine and Bomb is rising and YG is flaming. And
long may she rise.
Yes, long may she rise.
Park Bomb, sweet, wonderful, golden-throated girl
Yeah.
that she is, came out. She came back this year, 2019. She came out with a song that was first called Spring, and it featured Dara, which was amazing. That
Yeah,
was
it's
very sweet to see. It was also sweet that, like, you know, Dara was probably there for a piece of it as like emotional support for Bomb to like come back, and she's coming back as a solo artist. And then she also, like, just a couple weeks ago released a song called 444, like 4:44, like the time. And that features Wheein from Mamamoo.
Yeah.
Both of them are very ballady. But they seem to be doing well, and I hope that she continues to put out music and make a new name for herself.
Me too. Okay, popping in from another time and place to end this segment on a slightly happier note. So a couple of days after we recorded this episode, it was actually 2NE1's 10th anniversary. And all 4 girls got together and they did like separate Instagram lives, and they couldn't figure out how it worked, and they were all wearing animal pajamas, and it was the first time they'd been together, all 4 of them, in so long, and it was very sweet. And you can find all the pictures on their Instagrams, and people have cobbled together all the lives on YouTube, and it's very sweet and heartwarming. So I just needed to record an extra thing to make sure y'all knew about that. Okay, back to the episode. That's 2NE1. We got to watch their greatest, like, to lift ourselves out of this melancholy of how it ended. We're going to watch the music video for the absolute peak of the best it ever was.
And arguably, like, one of the most well-known, famous, and iconic K-pop songs of all time, because that is who 2NE1 is.
Yes, so here it comes, 2NE1, I Am the Best. See, this is that intro. You know this intro.
Yeah, you've heard this before.
So at the beginning, CL is wearing like a wrestler boxing
robe and like a WWE championship belt.
And they're in front of like the biggest like light wall ever. It's really great. And this iconic shaking dance.
Yep. And wearing these like tough black outfits with studs and mirrors on them.
Bomb has a
spiky
spike
bra.
bra and a poodle.
And Louboutins.
Yeah. I feel like this video is really just them looking extremely cool in front of this big light wall.
And like looking cool by walking down a runway. Looking cool by being in a Lamborghini.
Oh.
And then there's CL in both a white and a black straight jacket.
Multiple straight jackets.
And Minzy in her chainmail. I love her in her
Chainmail hoodie.
chainmail.
Oh my god, that's so nuts.
But basically, this whole music video is just a box video in different sets.
Big spinny chair, and there's another pretty little kitty again.
Yeah, something about this music video is very like Matrix-y. With this like spinny world domination chair. Matrix and I guess like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
That's a weird set.
Yeah.
Train
it's like
wheels?
weird trains. And like Minzy's like wearing. Okay, now the bright colors are coming.
Okay,
They were
they're
in only
changing.
black and white before.
Now they're wearing like weird neons. Bomb has the whoa.
Okay, yes. And now and then
Tandara
Dara's
is
eyes
so
get
the G-Dragon of this group. The weird shit they do with her.
Yeah. Ugh, I love that ponytail.
Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with this like curly ponytail that CL has.
It's very I Dream of Jeannie.
Ugh, it's perfect. And she has like a Barbie pink jacket on.
Those Viking horns.
Yeah, now they're being tough and smashing all of their platinum records
With a
because
metal
they don't
bat.
even care. That's how
Because they're
great
the
they
best. Sandara's hair is bananas. Yeah.
are. No. Nah. Now there's drummers in a pyramid. I got mesmerized and forgot to say that.
It's all very mirrored now. They have a lot of like silver and chrome in their outfits. Yeah.
And now they have guns. And they're shooting
everything. Dara's hair is just straight up like she got electrocuted. Oh my God. I personally love that almost every single music video ends with the four of them power stancing in front of their own name.
Yes.
It's a classic.
It's such
look.
a power move.
Yeah.
It's a power move.
And that's what 2NE1 is. They're a power move.
Yeah.
Full of power ladies.
So I hope that you enjoyed this deep dive. If you were a Blackjack, I hope we did them justice. And if you had never heard anything about 2NE1 before, I hope you now understand their place in the K-pop wall of fame, history, whatever.
In the pillars of history, the foundation of K-pop.
Exactly.
You will find 2NE1.
We'll find 2NE1.
Do you have a recommendation for this week?
I had really hoped that I would have like a 2NE1 specific recommendation because that's what I usually have for these deep dives.
I don't know a lot about 2NE1's discography aside from what we covered. So I unfortunately, I wish I could recommend a B-side or something that I really liked. I just wanted to recommend that 2015 Mama performance because I think it's so iconic.
I think I would tag team on that and just be like, if you don't want to watch anything that we talked about today, I would say just watch that.
Yeah.
Because the CL performance at the beginning of it is really great. And then I just think there's something beautiful about
inspiring.
Yeah, it just thinking, I have goosebumps thinking about it. There's just something so crazy about a surprise performance and a reunion of a group that YG tried to put in the basement.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be basemented, at least for then. So that's a good recommendation. That's all. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can reach us at AMAKPopPod on Twitter and Instagram, amakpoppod.tumblr.com for links, and amakpoppod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. We'll be back next week with something fun. Don't know what, but it will be good. Okay?
Bye.
Bye. Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.